Trust is actually not built in the bigger things, right? It is the smallest of details that that you be transparent with all of the stakeholders, especially the clients, right? When you're eager to report a good progress to the client, I think that I try to invert it, like Charlie Munger says, invert everything. I would like to actually tell them the problems first. Because that actually builds trust with the clients, right? When you are eager to share your progress, you should also be in a position to tell them the problems first. And when you tell the problems, it will actually impact you in the short term, but I've seen during my course of my tenure that it pays back in the longer run. Being transparent, being being absolutely transparent to the clients to ensure that some of these problems, some of them might be necessarily due to some other external factors, but some of them can be due to some of the mistakes that were committed during delivery, right? All of these things have to be opened up to the clients in a transparent manner, so that they kind of feel that this is a trustworthy team that they are working with.
Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of Dexian Talks, an initiative by Dexian India, where we bring you inspiring conversations with people who shape our organization with leadership, expertise and impact. I'm Aarti Manosekar, your host for this episode. Today, we are delighted to welcome Mr. Manoj Kirish, Associate Director at Dexian India, a seasoned delivery leader with over 18 years of experience in driving digital transformation, innovation and large-scale program execution. His experience spans across application development, business intelligence, CRM platforms, process automation, enterprise analysis like BFSI and AgriTech. At Dexian, Manoj has been a part of impactful transformation journeys, including initiatives that have helped reimagine agricultural governance and market intelligence through technology. Under his leadership, teams have contributed towards major initiatives like Bihan, a digital intelligence platform transforming agricultural governance at scale, and AgMARKNET 2.0, which modernized agricultural market information across India. Manoj, it's a pleasure to have you with us on Dexian Talks today.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been following this show for quite some time now, and it's a real pleasure being here today.
Thank you, Manoj. Manoj, to start us off, can you please tell us a bit about your professional journey and what led you into delivery leadership?
See, I began my career sometime in 2006, so a long time ago. I was into product support, I was into QA, and of course, at the early stages of my career, I was a business analyst as well, like you said. Being a business analyst, I had the opportunity to meet multiple stakeholders, travel across many places to ensure that what the stakeholders are looking for. And then I transitioned to a project manager role, then a program manager role, and then of course when there was convergence of IT solutions and disk solutions, I had the opportunity to get into the delivery leadership after program management, which I stepped into gladly. So that was my journey. And delivery leadership generally means PPT, not the typical PowerPoint presentation, but people, process and technology. It is at the intersection of that. So I am loving this challenge, and I had the great opportunity to Dexian to manage multiple large-scale enterprise-grade projects. So that's where we are at today.
Interesting, Manoj, and it shows how your journey has evolved over time. So building on that journey, Manoj, from business analysis to project and program leadership, what were the key turning points that shaped your career today?
So being a business analyst, it was at the early stage of my career, and of course when people are starting out their journeys, they don't have comprehensive domain knowledge or the techno-functional expertise that is required to execute a program at scale, but being a business analyst, it actually helped me to meet a lot of stakeholders, be it clients, be it operational people, be it actually the people on the ground, and that kind of helped me, collect or collate requirements, and that actually, in fact, led me to understand the problems that people were having. And why the project was conceived in the first place. So given that, I would say that despite not having the best of domain knowledge at the early stage of my career, I kind of had a solid understanding of what the problem that people were trying to solve. At this juncture, so before you try and execute or solve a problem, you should actually know what problem you're trying to solve. So that has actually stuck with me throughout my career. And whenever any new project or anything that comes, I try to understand the problem at depth to the best of my ability, and then if I have a good hold on what the problem I'm trying to solve, solving it makes it solving the actual problem makes the things very much, like I wouldn't say a cakewalk, but much easier.
Okay, all right.
So that's the that is stuck with me for a long time now.
So I really like the fact that you mentioned how you really enjoy solving problems, Manoj, which is a unique attribute. So moving on, one of the remarkable initiatives your team delivered is Bihan, right? So for our audience and for me also, how would you describe Bihan and the larger purpose it serves?
Sure. Bihan was one of the initial, enterprise platforms that we had worked on. I stepped in this project in 2022. And it was at its infancy at that point of time.
Right.
And this was a challenge because it involved ensuring you assimilate data across the state of Bihar from all the 38 districts, 542 blocks, 8,600 plus panchayats, and 47,000 plus villages.
Okay.
So the data was there for everybody, but it was fragmented before Bihan. It was residing in WhatsApp channels. It was residing in white papers. It was residing in whiteboards. So, and it was residing in silos, basically within different departments of the agriculture department in Bihar. But we were actually able to assimilate all of this data to ensure that all these are not my words, these are some of the testimonials that we've got from government officials themselves.
Nice.
So we were able to assimilate all of these data silos into one single unified source of truth that actually helped the decision makers to ensure that they are good at they come out with better policies, good decision making. So let's understand this clearly. I'll tell you what is the distinction. Bihan is not a farmer facing app.
Okay.
But Bihan is a decision support systems that helps government officials to ensure they make better policies for the farmers or the end users. So that's what Bihan is all about.
It's amazing how you have your data on top of your mind, Manoj. And going a little deeper into Bihan project, what makes Bihan more than just a technology platform and truly a decision intelligence system for governance, as you just mentioned?
So like I told you earlier, right? Bihan is a decision support system.
Yeah.
And Bihan has got different modules. It has got a mobile platform where people can enter data.
Okay.
And it has got a decision support system in the form of a web application that actually decision makers or people at the headquarters can take informed and actionable decisions.
Right.
So, and the people who actually go to the field, there are actually 10,000 plus people who use Bihan on a day-to-day basis. Majority of them are called field officials or Kisan Salakars.
Okay.
They actually go to the field and interact with people. And, what makes it more than, a technology platform? So I would like to tell you two things. One was, before Bihan, the officials did not know that there were 261 varieties of paddy were being cultivated in their state.
Okay.
They knew that there were different varieties of paddy that were being cultivated, but they were amazed to see that these many varieties were cultivated within their state. The officials, they kind of understood that after Bihan, they had 261 varieties of paddy that were being cultivated in their state across all the 38 districts, and they were not aware of the statistic before the deployment of Bihan. So they knew that there were some varieties of paddy that was being cultivated, but not to this extent.
Wow.
So that's the kind of depth and data that Bihan was able to give it to the officials. And also another fact was that there was also strawberry cultivation going on in the state of Bihar across 10 districts.
Right.
Which the officials were pleasantly surprised to note after we have deployed Bihan. Before that, they were not aware of such a fact.
Yeah.
So I would, maybe they were aware, but not to this extent. So these are some of the insights, that nuances that Bihan can bring. And also it is not data in and data out, right? We have built automated workflows. Actually, if the field officers, he goes to the field and he has a chat with the person on the field and kind of ensures that this particular village has got this much amount of crop coverage.
Okay.
We've built automated workflows that will actually ensure that the data is being reported on the field is being approved and reviewed by the higher officials. For example, it will pass on from the panchayat or the village official to the block official and the block official to the district official. So these are some of the guardrails that have been built in. And one of the other factors, I don't want to be sounding too technical, but I'll quote an example, right? It's just to ensure that it is not data in and data out.
Okay.
So for example, let us say that a specific district in Bihar, a specific village in Bihar is total cultivable area of 200 or 300 hectares.
Okay.
If someone tries to enter 600 hectares for that village, the system itself has a guardrail built in which will say that you are actually entering something that is more than the total cultivable area in that village.
Oh.
So do you still want to continue? These are some of the guardrails that we have built. But we've known all of this not at the inception, but as we had continued the Bihan journey, we ensured that these are some of the things that would be useful and helpful to the officials to make better informed decisions with good, there is data, then there is quality data. So we are doing our bit to ensure that the data integrity and data quality in Bihan is sound. So these are some of the steps that we've taken towards that.
Very true, Manoj. And when we talk about impact at that scale, just to mention, right? So is there one impact story or outcome from Bihan that made you or your team feel this is why we do what we do?
Once once we were able to roll out Bihan to all the 38 districts, there are two things that I would like to highlight here.
Yeah.
One was a challenge that we overcame, other was the impact that was created by Bihan.
Okay.
So once we had rolled out Bihan to all 38 districts, there was one instance of a drought-like situation in Bihar.
Okay.
There was a severe drought.
Okay.
And at that time, they were actually corroborating the field level official data that the agriculture department has with the data available in Bihan. The then chief minister actually decided to take an aerial survey of the drought hit areas in Bihar to ensure that what are the regions that required subsidies and compensations to the affected farmers. And the data presented to the government and the data in Bihan matched perfectly, and they were able to disperse a good amount of subsidies or benefits to the affected farmers. Actually, that really transformed the way we thought about Bihan, and it is actually impacting real people on the field. True. And that gives us a sense of fulfillment for engaging in such a type of project.
Yeah, and it really brings the purpose of work to life, right?
True.
Yeah.
True.
And another major transformation you have worked on is AgMARKNET 2.0, right? So which modernized agricultural market information across India.
Correct.
So what was the transformation vision behind this entire project, Manoj?
See, we started AgMARKNET sometime in the end of 2024,
okay.
It was our first direct engagement with the central government. So we had bid this project in the GEM portal, and we were successful in our bid. So it was a direct contract awarded to us by the central government.
Right.
And I think, if my memory serves right, it's for the Ministry of Agriculture and Family Welfare.
Right.
So, and this project, when we went into the project, AgMARKNET 1.0 already existed, but we had to reimagine a lot of things, right?
Okay.
The stack had to be completely open source, and to boot to that, we had to cater to 4,500 mandis across India and ensure that the data dissemination was seamless. And there was no disruption as well, right? Because there was a system that was already running. On top of that, we had to build a mobile app. So these were some of the things that we needed to do to ensure that the data from AgMARKNET 1.0 transitioned seamlessly into AgMARKNET 2.0.
Perfect. At
the same time, right, the vision, right, when the grand vision was to ensure that the scale, 4,500 mandis, right from Tripura to Tanjavur, all of these mandis were included. So the scale at the execution was at par and with the within the framework defined by the government. So all of these things had to be taken into consideration, and we were able to execute this. We went live in November, so we execute these things at scale.
Wonderful. Such a large scale vision, right? Especially considering the national impact that has it. So you were talking about mandis, Manoj, and that brings me to the next question. So when we talk about digitizing over 4,000 mandis, so what does that really mean in terms of impact for farmers and the broader ecosystem?
So I'll tell you what. One of the things that I personally experienced was when we actually won this project.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to go to the Azadpur market, which is one of the largest mandis in Southeast Asia, at very early in the morning, to ensure that how the auctions were conducted, how the commodities were coming in, who are the stakeholders involved. So that kind of gave me a bird's eye view of how this platform could be digitized, me and my team, of course. True. So one such instance is, right, I'll give you an example. So there are, if you take a mandi for example, there are different stakeholders across the value chain.
Yeah.
Stakeholders would be primary stakeholders being farmers, and then the other stakeholders being traders.
Right.
Then there are middlemen.
Right.
And then there are mandi board officials, and then field officials within the mandi board who will actually facilitate these transactions.
Right.
We had to add value to all of these stakeholders, right? It is a central government scheme. The scheme might be envisioned centrally, but the execution happens locally, right?
Yeah, very true.
So if the system is not adopted, or if it is not, if our team does not train the end users well, then the adoption rate becomes very low, and then it will not serve the purpose of actually building this application. So we had to ensure that all of these stakeholders identified by the government were trained, and the training was seamless, and they were able to use the application with ease of adaptability and good rates of success. So these are some of the things that we had to keep in mind before executing this type of project at scale.
Yeah. So my next question is, one of the key outcomes here is transparency, right?
Okay.
So price transparency is a powerful outcome.
Correct.
So how does a platform like AgMARKNET 2.0 help reduce inefficiencies and empower farmers with better market access?
Like I think I've covered most of it in my for the earlier questions as well, but I like to add, right? For example, let's say a farmer is producing paddy in Andhra Pradesh, cultivating rice, and he wants to sell his produce. If there is no transparent system in front of him, he will be at the mercy of middlemen who will actually bargain with him for a much lower price than what he could potentially sell his produce for.
Yeah.
But with the systems like AgMARKNET, what happens is that he will actually have the transparency to see the prices real time, and he will know what his produce is being sold. Same type of produce is being sold 100 kilometers away, or 150 kilometers away, and based on the logistics that he can plan, he can decide to sell where he actually wants to sell his produce, where he can fetch a better price for farmers. So those things. And also helping the government, right, for top crops, especially when you say top crops, those are tomato, onion and potato. There are typical minimum support prices that the government envisions for some of these crops. So that is also benefiting the farmer. So all of these, right, the person sitting in Delhi can make good, person who is actually qualified to make decisions can make good informed decisions about pricing and help the government to make better policies. But at the same time, the person actually benefiting from it is a farmer who can actually decide to sell it at a different mandi to get better prices for his produce. So these two things actually, to answer your question, helps the farmers to ensure that they have a transparent and beneficial pricing.
Yeah, this also impacts farmers' livelihoods as well, right?
It really does.
Yeah, and behind such large implementations, Manoj, there are always learnings. So what are the most important execution lessons from delivering a national scale platform like AgMARKNET 2.0?
So some of the lessons, right, what happens is, this was a first, like I said earlier, if you will, this was a first central government engagement, and we had to work with different stakeholders.
Right.
It could be our nodal officer, and it could be people in the department, and people who actually chair our meeting in the review board. So the government officials chair, so people at the secretary level, joint secretary level, they chair our meeting, and then we had to work with National Information Center to host our application, because NIC is the one that provides the infrastructure. And we had to also, interact with, you said 4,500 mandis. So we had to ensure that all of these mandi officials were in tune to the new system.
Right.
And so all of this engaging with different stakeholders who had different stakes at different points in time was a key factor and a great learning experience for me, especially my team. My team had put in a lot of effort to ensure that it went live successfully. So there were great learnings, right? We had to, so to summarize all of this, stakeholder management, and then understanding the key requirements to ensure that, like I told you at the very beginning of this podcast, trying to actually understand what problem we were actually trying to solve, and then ensuring execution at scale. So all of these three things would
Yeah,
would be
very
key
unique
learnings.
execution learnings, I would say.
Yes, yes.
So
Absolutely.
that brings us to your broader leadership approach, Manoj. So you have led teams working on complex government and enterprise programs. So what does strong delivery leadership mean to you today?
See, strong delivery leadership essentially means giving the conditions or creating the atmosphere that the team can actually work on, right?
Sure.
Giving them the space, giving them the trust. It's not about me being the smartest person on the room. So I never think like that. I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room.
Okay.
But ensuring that these conditions, right? There are always project deliveries. There are a lot of uncertainties about timelines, dependencies,
Yeah.
external factors, and also ensuring that the rapport or the outcomes that the client desires actually materializes. So these are the team works in real high pressure environments, but I'll have to create the conditions. I'll have to facilitate the team. At the same time, see, it is about the CAT approach, right? You know, calling for action, accountability, and trust.
Okay.
So all of these things. So that's my style. I kind of trust the people that I work with, but at the same time, I ensure that what the expectations are. So that's how I like to lead teams.
Yeah, CAT approach. Yeah, we'll have that in mind, Manoj. So that's a very grounded perspective on leadership, Manoj. And you just mentioned that there are a lot of dependencies on different stakeholders, right? So when you're managing such programs, so how do you balance innovation, governance, timelines, and execution discipline?
So I would like to see this from this perspective, right? These are not competing factors. These are definitely not competing factors. I see them as dials. I see them because there are different projects in different stages.
Right.
You actually can be flexible with the innovation thing when you're starting the project, but when the timeline is near for delivery, you might have to tighten those dials a little bit. So I actually do not see them as competing factors at all, but I want to ensure that the balance between all the three factors that you've mentioned are actually in proportion with where we are at the project. So I would like to either dial it down those things a little bit or dial it up a little bit depending on where we are at the project. That's how I see some of these factors: execution, disciplines, timelines.
Yeah. So can we say balance is the very core of the
balance and doing not only balance but balance and actually knowing what to do when.
Yeah, very true. So that brings me to the next question. You just mentioned that trust is also one of the factors, right? And it's a very critical one. So how do you build that trust factor with stakeholders, Manoj?
See, trust is actually not built in the bigger things, right? It is the smallest of details that that you be transparent with all of the stakeholders, especially the clients, right? When you're eager to report a good progress to the client, I think that I try to invert it, like Charlie Munger says, invert everything.
Okay.
I would like to actually tell them the problems first.
Okay.
Because that actually builds trust with the clients, right? When you are eager to share your progress, you should also be in a position to tell them the problems first. And when you tell the problems, it will actually impact you in the short term, but I've seen during my course of my tenure that it pays back in the longer run. Being transparent, being being absolutely transparent to the clients to ensure that some of these problems, some of them might be necessarily due to some other external factors, but some of them can be due to some of the mistakes that were committed during delivery, right? All of these things have to be opened up to the clients in a transparent manner, so that they kind of feel that this is a trustworthy team that they are working with. So that's
very well said, Manoj. And when you step back and look at the teams, right? So what do you believe separates a good delivery team from a truly exceptional one?
Very good question. Coming to think of it, right? Good delivery team, solid delivery team, they do what they've been told, and exceptional delivery teams do what is needed. So that's the difference. So those are not the same things, right? I assign a task, people execute it, and they move on to the next task.
Right.
But there might be so much other things that are dependent, right? If, for example, if a developer is waiting on an API and the API has to be done by the backend team, exceptional teams will ensure that the entire piece of the puzzle is assembled
Right.
so that the stakeholders do not have to wait. And the key here is taking ownership. That's the key word here. Teams who actually take ownership to ensure that tasks and associated communication is done along with the
Right.
tasks that they've executed would actually make great teams, right? And the teams that actually take these ownership, they don't wait. They don't wait for their pieces of their puzzles to be solved, but they also ensure the whole puzzle is solved.
Right.
And also there is no finger pointing and other things like that. So they stick to work, and they are extremely professional. This is what I've seen the differences between good and exceptional teams.
So the conversation has been very interesting and very, very insightful for us, Manoj. And before we wrap up, I would like to ask two personality-based questions to you. So the first question is, so when you look back at your journey so far, Manoj, what kind of leader do you hope your team sees in you?
See, I come here to add, I try to add value to people here, empower them.
Right.
This question is a very emotional question for me.
Okay.
Because my priority to coming to office every day, something that motivates me is the people that I work with.
Wonderful.
So I definitely need to so if they can think of me as someone who has empowered them, given the independence and the freedom, and also ensure that the expectations have been set with them right. Someone who has actually given them feedback on time, and someone who actually they feel confident enough to open up to me to ensure that some of their problems that they are facing during work can they think of me of someone who can actually help them solve some of their needs, and someone who actually has led with empathy. And someone who has been very, very clear of what the expectations is at the start of the project. So it's a balance of being I would not see, they can talk to me as someone senior to them, and a leader, but definitely not as a manager.
So can you say you are a people-centric person?
Absolutely, there's no question about it.
Yes. So my next question is, what is one personal value that has consistently guided your decisions throughout your career?
So good question again.
Okay.
I would like to quote a Tamil song. Many of you might not be familiar with that. It's an old song, but உன்னை அறிந்தால் நீ உன்னை அறிந்தால் உலகத்தில் போராடலாம் உயர்ந்தாலும் தாழ்ந்தாலும் தலை வணங்காமல் நீ வாழலாம். So this is self-awareness, definitely self-awareness, and also empathy. These two things go in hand, I think, and I try to be aware of myself, where I'm at, and try to ensure that whatever is given to me, I try to execute to the best of my ability. This is something that I truly value as a person. Last, but definitely not the least, something that I really want to add here. I have been, I've started my career as a business analyst, even before that as a product support person, right?
Yeah.
And then moved on to different roles. So for all of this, and for most part, I've been in Dexian for the last 6 years.
Okay.
And Venkat was instrumental in ensuring that my transition, he was able to support me as a good leader, give me critical feedback when it is needed,
right,
and ensure that I course correct myself when I step away from the main script. So unfortunately he's not here today to do that, but he was instrumental as one of my core mentors, who was who helped me to step into this delivery role when I had the opportunity to branch out as this solution. So all kudos to him. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank him, Kumar sir, and other mentors as well.
So Manoj, you speak so highly of Venkat, him being the mentor for you for all the excellent things that you've been doing here at Dexian. So we have received a small surprise message from Venkat. So can we hear it?
Sure. I'm not sure if I'm doing excellent things, but I'm glad you were calling it out.
It's my pleasure in sharing a few thoughts about Manoj. Manoj is an extraordinarily committed professional who values human relationships. It's very hard to find someone with that combination of wanting to succeed but wanting to take the team along with him. And Manoj is that rare specimen. Manoj has come a long way from the time I've seen him initially when he joined Dexian to where he is right now. He has a powerful combination of a MBA done abroad, and he really put that to use as he grew in his role within Dexian. And I'm very sure, given the uptake of the projects that we're getting, the type of valuable projects that we're getting in the environment, Manoj is going to soar higher and higher. And I wish him all the very best in the near future.
Pleasantly surprised by the voice note, but part of it seems like a little bit of a good feedback. I would take that in as well, and I look forward to ensuring what I could look forward to see what I could do for Dexian with the uptick of projects coming in. So.
Wonderful, Manoj. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and real pleasure talking to you, Aarti. Thank you for hosting this, and I had a good time being here today.
We all had a good time, Manoj. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Manoj's insights truly show how technology, when paired with purpose and disciplined execution, can create transformation at scale. It was a pleasure having you with us today, Manoj, and we're really grateful for the perspective you brought us to this conversation. And once again, thank you for being here.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in today. I'll meet you in the next episode with another interesting guest on Dexian Talks. Thank you.
We are Dexian, in the business for good.